Dan and Amy, we've done a couple of important stories, and I'm very appreciative of our attentive listeners who connect the dots sometimes when we fail to, Amy, and this is such an example.
Don't put that hate on me, Ricky Bobby.
No, I'm not. I'm taking ownership. Now, here's the thing.
Yes.
We may mention that the dude who defaced Trump's star on the Walk of Fame, he has been apprehended.
Well, they picked him up at his house, and what he was going to do is he was going to hold a press conference first and then turn himself into LAPD, and LAPD said, no, we're taking you in right now for felony vandalism.
Yeah, it was an act of civil disobedience, he said, because
of what?
He wanted to extract Trump's star, auction off to raise money for the women who claimed Trump sexually assaulted them in decades past.
Please.
This is the same guy, by the way, who 7 years earlier, 2009, auctioned off items belonging to Gandhi at with the opposition of the Indian government, and he said he planned to sell the money he raised from auctioning off those items that the Indian government claimed were the people's property to promote pacifism. This
oh my gosh,
this goofball is ironically James Otis. He's an heir to the Otis Elevator Company fortune.
So he's a trust fund baby, probably.
Yeah, Idle Minds and the Devil's Workshop. In a related story.
Is there a mistake that you made or something?
No, in a related story.
Yeah.
We talked about this, how the closed door button on elevators.
Oh, yeah. Was just a joke.
They've been fake since the 1990s. You're being duped, people. Wake up. And the Amish texter.
Here we go.
Properly observed. I want to quote him. I don't want to take him out of context. I want to use his words. First, the Otis guy jacks up Trump's star. Now you tell me he installed a fake closed door button. The fix is in. This is proof that the system is rigged, and Trump should pick up on James Otis, connect it to the elevator button story, and let's call the whole election off, is my point. Mark Kirk, I think, wishes he could call last night's debate off.
Ooh, it's
but
it's making national news what happened.
Well, it's interesting. It's an interesting choice he made. Tammy Duckworth talking about her service and her connection to Daughters of the American Revolution, because her father, who served the country, also has lineage that dates back to the American Revolution.
Right.
And this is how that went down.
My family has served this nation in uniform going back to the Revolution. I'm a daughter of the American Revolution. I've bled for this nation. But I still want to be there in the Senate when the drums of war sound, because people are quick to sound the drums of war, and I want to be there to say, this is what it costs. This is what you're asking us to do. And if that's the case, I'll go. Families like mine are the ones that bleed first. But let's make sure the American people understand what we are engaging in, and let's hold our allies accountable, because we can't do it all.
Senator Kirk, 30 seconds to rebut.
I had forgotten that your parents came all the way from Thailand to serve George Washington.
Yeah. She was born in Thailand. Her mother was born in China, but her father is from the United States.
Yeah. Mark Kirk, would you like to use your other 25 seconds that you still have on that rebuttal?
Dead silence.
Or would you just like to say bye, everybody?
Bye.
Senator.
Yeah, he stepped in it.
Senator D-elect Mark Kirk. If that was an attempt at a clever quip, if he was trying to make a funny, here's a suggestion. When you try to employ humor, use the funny kind.
Right. When they saying it was a racist dig, that's how they're calling it this morning. There was a big wow moment. I mean, it was a small debate in Springfield, Illinois. It wouldn't have gotten any attention
nationally. There are no small debates. There are only small ideas.
Okay, Dan. Anyway, it wouldn't have gotten national attention, but he stepped in. It was I saw it, and it was very uncomfortable to watch.
Yes, the moderator quickly turned to State Journal Register reporter Bernie Schoenberg.
Like,
and Bernie, you got the next question. Let's just kind of paper over that and keep moving. And Tammy Duckworth chose not to take the bait. But she is going to take that Senate seat. So going to have to look to, if you're thinking about, like, I want to focus on control of the Senate, maybe go up north of the cheese curtain and help Ron Johnson, because Mark Kirk is beyond help. All right, staying at the state level, but getting a little bit more local. We're now pleased to be joined by another incumbent who is on the ballot on November 8th. He is Dan Patlak, who is a Republican candidate and incumbent for the Cook County Board of Review. This is the tax review body in Cook County. Dan, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Hey, it's great to be on a show that I wake up to every morning.
Oh, very good.
I
Thank you.
know.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
I really do. And I want a Dan Patlak sign because I've never seen more signs in my life.
Well, it's
The Dan Patlak signs, which is good. The bright yellow, it works.
it's Steelers colors, which I like.
Amy,
It's-
I have a feeling you don't live in my district, but if you want a sign, we'll get one out there in front of your house.
My
today.
dad has one. Don't worry. My family lives in your district, so you're covered. We got you covered.
all right.
Fantastic.
Are you two done now? Can we get on to the
Well, I was going
substantive
to say hi to
policy
his wife,
discussions?
too. He's got a lovely wife.
It does.
Yes.
It's a lovely family. The Patlak family
No,
is
they're
lovely.
good people.
Lovely people. They're from northwest suburban Cook County, like you. Now, unlike you, they didn't grow up in a nudist colony, but they're still from the same region. That's the point. So, Dan, for people who are not well versed in this and think that if you want to appeal your property taxes, you just have to retain Mike Madigan's law firm, explain the job of the Board of Review and your job as a commissioner and its import as people try and kind of remember candidates and jobs and issues going into to complete their ballot in the next 2 weeks.
Sure, Dan. The Cook County Board of Review is the county office that reviews property assessment appeals. So if you own any sort of property, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, or vacant land, and you think your assessment is unfairly high, you can come to our office. You can file an appeal, present whatever evidence you have at your disposal. We will review that appeal. And if we agree with you that you're overassessed, we will reduce your assessment. And in most cases, that causes a reduction in the taxes you would otherwise have to pay.
And so you don't have to hire a lawyer. I mean, I get mail every day saying, I'll help reduce your property taxes. Sign with me. You can represent
no, and as
yourself.
a matter of fact, you don't have to hire an attorney unless you are an incorporated property, which most residential properties are not. You are not required to hire an attorney. And the process is fairly simple. I hold assessment appeal seminars regularly. As a matter of fact, this week I've done 4 of them, one in Mount Greenwood, Willow Springs, LaGrange, and last night in Elk Grove, where I explained to taxpayers how the process works, where they can get their evidence, how they can file their appeal and file their evidence. And you can do it on your own. There are attorneys who do this for a living, and if you don't want to do the work of filing the appeal, you can certainly hire one of them, but I recommend to people that the process is simple enough that you can do it on your own.
And what is the percentage of people who appeal that are successful in seeing their assessment and then by extension their property taxes reduced?
Well, it can vary greatly from year to year. I started at the Board of Review as an analyst in 1999, and that year, 54% of all the appeals filed received a reduction of some sort. Last year, the number was 60%, but since 1999, I've seen the numbers go up and down. I've seen a high of 73% in one particular year, and I've seen a low of 49%.
So you've got a pretty good chance, better than even chance, even money chance normally, to have a reduction if you go through this process. And I suppose that prompts the question, what does that say about our property tax classification system if you see assessments that are so routinely reduced upon inspection? I know you're not a policymaker with respect to how property tax system works, but you certainly have to have some comment on that.
Sure. Well, Cook County is the second largest county in the entire nation. And Cook County is the only county in Illinois where the county assessor is in charge of assessing all property. All other counties, you have township assessors doing it, so they have much smaller areas that they have to assess. In our case, the Cook County assessor has to reassess 1/3 of Cook County each year. He does it northern suburban, which he's doing this year, south suburban, and the city. There's 1.8 million total parcels of property. So we use a system, I shouldn't say we, the assessor uses a system of mass appraisal. They do something called regression analysis. And because they're not looking at the homes individually, there are a lot of mistakes made. But fortunately, we have an appeal process which allows people to get those mistakes corrected.
Well, and it's such a big deal because Chicagoans, Cook County residents, Illinoisans pay, in terms of a percentage of their home's value, almost twice as much as many of our neighboring states.
Yeah, property taxes are high, and for many people, their property taxes are higher than their income tax or any amount of sales tax they pay or anything else. So our goal at the Board of Review is fairness, to make sure that the assessment on each property that is appealed is fair and is uniform with other similar properties. And we've got 3 commissioners that run the Board of Review. I'm the only Republican, but if you want to get anything done, you have to be able to work with your colleagues, and the 3 of us are able to do that. We put our partisan differences aside to make sure that the board is run efficiently and fairly. And
you're not only the only Republican on the board, you're also the highest elected Republican official in Cook County, aren't you?
I am. Now, I'd like that to change. I'd like to see some other Republicans elected to high county office. But for now, yeah, my district encompasses 1.7 million people. That's about 2.5 congressional districts. So I do represent more people than any other Republican in Cook County.
All right. And people want more information on the campaign, more information on you. Where do they go?
They should go to my website at electpatlak.com. They can request a yard sign. They can make a contribution, or they can volunteer to help us with door knocking and other grassroots activity. Elect Patlak,
Patlak, electpatlak.com is the website. Dan Patlak, Republican candidate and Commissioner, Cook County Board of Review. Dan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan and Amy.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.